God bless y'all, brothers and sisters. All praises be to the Most High. Once again, my name is Brother Raven.
And Brittany.
And I'm finna tell on her. All right, last week we had a meeting with Lacey Lizola, like always. And then, boy, did we get some very good gems and jewels and good confirmation about how we've been. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. We've been bickering back and forth. We've been arguing. And it's a beautiful thing because this is a real relationship. We're really going through the ringer, man.
Not through the ringer. It's just real regular stuff.
So, one of the things that I was bringing up in the meeting we had last week, I was saying that I hate getting asked 1,000,001 questions, especially questions that I answered already, and then it makes me feel like you ain't listening to nothing I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. What you think I'm supposed to say to that?
Are you not going to contest? Are you going to agree? Are you going to dispute? Am I lying?
Did I say you was lying? Go on.
So when I brought it to the attention of Lace, he broke it down to me in a very beautiful, poetic way. Basically, it's like you don't really want to sweat the small stuff. If you sweat the small stuff, then you're going to be having a whole marriage, a lifetime long spending, always bickering and tripping and just finding ways to just be irritated. And really it comes from just having pet peeves, which you are supposed to have died from if you call yourself born again.
Don't look at me.
So one of the things of how he broke it down to me was just like this. He said, bruh, how would you feel if you would never, ever hear her ask you another question again? I'm like, what you mean? He said, if she was to pass away, God forbid, you will be wishing she would be asking you those questions. You'll be wishing to be irritated by her. You'll be wishing to have her there getting on your nerves. And I said, you know what? You're absolutely entitled to your own opinion.
Irritating and getting on your nerves. I just ain't gonna say nothing.
What did you learn?
Anyway, so from my perspective, Lizola was saying at the same time, even though he shouldn't be as irritated, but she was.
What? Wait.
Be quiet. It's my turn.
What?
It's my turn because he always talks over me. Anyway, she was saying from my perspective too, I also need to listen more and retain what he's saying so that way he doesn't feel like, he has to repeat himself or like I'm asking the same questions over and over again, because I do ask him stuff over and over again because I tend to forget. And so then that makes him feel like it's not a priority or it's not important to me for me to remember it. So that's something that I need to work on, is me retaining the stuff, the information that he gives me or the questions I ask him. I need to remember what the answer is, and then I'm not bothering him by asking him over and over again. So that's something that I have to work on, that I'm working on. That's it.
Oh! Hey, she clicked it. Now look, now she been the video director person. How you feeling, baby?
Fine. We're not just gonna go on and on about it. Go on. What's next?
In actuality, brothers and sisters, at the end of the day, this is what marriage is really about. You really know, you get to know somebody, you know if y'all really can get along the longer you spend time with that person. The longer you spend time. See, time tells all things. You know what I'm talking about? So when you start to spend time with each other, it starts to come out. And being a believer, guess what you got to do when you start to see yourself getting irritated and see yourself starting to get really frustrated with the person that you wanted to spend your life with?
Use discernment.
Come again?
Use discernment.
What's that?
It's like a spiritual intuition.
How would you use that?
By reading the other person. You can tell from their body language, just how they're looking in their eyes, looking at, their posture and stuff, and you can tell what kind of mood they're in and if it's the time to address something or not.
You said that like you frustrated. Or not.
No, I just say my words proper.
That's what your kids are calling it. Go ahead and click it off since you want to be the video recorder person.
Go ahead.
Oh, now I can do it?
Would you go on and put one
In a nutshell, brothers and sisters, at the end of the day, man, even when I don't like you, I still got your best interest at heart. And to me, that's what real true marriage and that's what true unconditional love is really all about. Because I look at how God looks at us. A marriage, our earthly marriage is basically the resemblance of how God is married, when Jesus marrying his bride. So, I'm getting a small glimpse of how Jesus felt towards his bride. You know what I'm saying? Now, it started to make sense when she started going back and seeing how he dealt with Israel and seeing how all the stuff that he was going through, how he had to divorce him and become a new man and all that type of stuff like that. It started to make sense now. When you want to get married to somebody, you got to die to yourself. Like, seriously. You can't come into this thing expecting this person just to take all your garbage and foolishness.
I agree.
And this was our homework assignment.
To come up with our 10 marriage commandments, our 10 commandments in marriage. And we each have our own 10, and they don't have to be the same. But it's basically 10 things that we have to have in a marriage.
Yeah, like, it is very important because it's basically like a covenant thing. It's basically you giving it to me, I'm giving it to her, and said this is what I must have. So if we ever get to the point where we breaking one of our commandments, we can always bring it back to ourselves, kind of like keeping ourselves accountable too. And that's a beautiful thing, which I thought was a beautiful idea, in which we're not going to be sharing because it's very personal, right? High five. And in doing the 10 commandments, I also learned that even presenting that to one another can be a very challenging thing if you ain't presenting it with the right attitude, or better yet, with the right delivery. Because basically you're telling somebody, I'm measuring you based off of what I've already seen in the time that I spent with you. Now I'm about to make these rules up to let you know that this is what I see and this is what I can't have. But I got some things that I know for sure that personally I came into it just knowing I gotta have. Peace was one of them.
And it also shouldn't be looked at it just as, oh, this is what I can't have. I mean, it also needs to be a positive perspective too. Like, this is something that I want, or this is something that I need, but it can be positive as well. Not just, oh, I got to have peace because you're causing me all kind of chaos. You know, I mean, it should also be positive. So one of mine one of them that I will share is time alone. Like, I need time alone. Sometimes I need to recharge and be by myself for a while. And that's from anybody, because that's just how I am. Sometimes I need time by myself. So that's one of my commandments. We're not going to spend every waking moment together. Go ahead.
Marriage is really about stability, but it's more or less so about longevity. And to be able to be lasting, to be built to last, you really got to put forth the effort into dying to yourself. Are you really doing that right now?
It don't silence so it don't ring.
I don't know who you is anymore.
You gotta figure it out.
Who are you?
Who are you?
I'm Raven.
Okay.
Brother Raven to you.
No, I ain't calling you brother nothing.
Having longevity in your marriage is not how much you can love somebody, but it's really, can you be lovable? Are you somebody that's lovable?
Easy to love.
Easy to love, but more or less so, can you receive the love? Like, when you're in the midst of getting an attitude or getting upset about something, are you lovable? Is your response somebody who can receive love that somebody else is showing you, especially if the other person is not matching the same energy? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you irritated with somebody and you want to yell and scream, somebody saying, look, baby, I ain't trying to be doing all that, man. Come here, give me a hug, come here. Are you lovable? To receive that love, to say, you know what, yeah, we both got to stop.
You asking me that?
Yeah.
You have to answer that question. Am I in that
but
moment?
That's something that, like, you don't go into it thinking. Like, you don't go into the reason why you break up and the reason why people get divorced is because they're not lovable. They do match the same energy. If somebody has been very hostile and being very confrontational, the other person gonna match it.
I don't believe that men should match women's energy. I'll say that. I don't. Because women are more emotional. We're more in our feelings and stuff like that. Not that it's okay, but that's just how we're made. I mean, that's just, we're going to be more emotional than a man is, or we're going to be more in our feelings. And I don't think a man should ever match a woman's energy. Like, unless she's doing something good. if it's negative, if she got an attitude or silent treatment, whatever it is, you don't just do it right back, because then there's no resolve. Like, somebody has to be the bigger person, and if the man is the head, then he's supposed to lead and like, okay, we're not doing this. And that's just, I mean, I couldn't be with a man that's matching my energy, because sometimes I might have an attitude or I might not be in the best mood. I don't want you acting like me. Like, I just don't.
So you couldn't deal with the male version of you.
But I also don't do silent treatments either. Like, I may be talking and you probably don't want to hear it, because if I have an attitude, you probably don't want to talk about what I'm talking about. But I don't do silent treatment where I'm not talking to you for hours and all that stuff. And I don't even stay mad for hours, because I don't like being mad for hours. But I'm going to be mad however long I'm going to be mad. But I'm not like totally unapproachable where you can't say nothing to me.
Sweet evil Jesus.
What's that?
They understand. So what's the conclusion, brothers and sisters?
You asking them or you asking me?
I'm asking you.
You have to be able to come to some kind of what's the word? Middle ground. Like, you got to be able to resolution. Yeah, there needs to be. Yeah, I mean, things shouldn't be so bad that, like, if it's so bad that you can't talk or you go on days without speaking and all that kind of stuff, I don't know if you need to be together.
No, you don't.
Because I ain't never done that, period. But I'm not going to be with somebody who I can't talk to, or they giving me the silent treatment, or they're never going to come, and if they did something wrong, they're not going to apologize or be the bigger person. Like, that's not going to work. But I think you need to be able to work together to come up with a solution that works for you. And I think every couple is different. Like, what might work for somebody else, y'all might have a safe word or something. Where y'all
sounds like somebody
not in that way. I mean, like a word that when things are going too far, and you might be like, okay, now, okay, we went too far. We need to take a break and, like, take some time away from each other and go in different rooms or whatever you need to do. Versus somebody else, they might want to they might yell, they might argue and just keep yelling until they tired or whatever. And that might work for them.
Yeah, I can do it.
Obviously, but I'm saying whatever your solution is going to be individual to your relationship. What works for somebody else might not work for somebody else. Some people can be mad at each other for days on end, and then they act like nothing happened, and they don't even apologize. They just go on like whatever, and that works, and they've been doing it. It wouldn't work for me, but everybody is. It's not. That's a toxic relationship.
Toxic,
but some people have toxic. It's a lot of toxic long relationships, and people work. Maybe one person is miserable, maybe both of them are, but that's works for them. But I don't. Another thing we talked about was just not putting other people in our business or taking other people's advice who don't have success in their marriage.
Amen.
But that's a whole nother section.
Sure is.
You got anything else?
And another thing. One thing that I'm realizing and I'm seeing is I'm gonna have to ask myself this every day I'm married to you, baby. How bad do I want it? What am I willing to do to make sure this be functioning and especially prosperous for the kingdom? Because at the end of the day, you getting married not just for your personal pleasure. It's really just to fulfill purpose that God has called you to do. So how bad do I really want it? It says that in the word that I'm not supposed to wash you with the word and present you to myself. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm washing you with the word, then we're both growing. We're both getting things cut off of us. We're both going through, we're both getting underneath the sword, the double-edged sword. So as it swings your way, I gotta swing my way too. So how bad do I really want it? That's a question that I know I'm gonna have to get up and ask myself every day that we married. Is how bad do I want this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's it, brothers and sisters. At the end of the day, you need to ask yourself how bad do you want it. We finna stay together. Regardless of what we go through. We're gonna be calling late please don't let me get too bad. But regardless, at the end of the day, I love you, baby.
Love you too. It's really not bad. It's
not
growing pains, but
exactly.
I'm sure people have been through a lot worse.
I know people have been through worse.
I've been through worse.
Me too. Until next time, brothers and sisters, be strong.
No way.
Peace.